And as interns, they only made us do kitchen and electrical layouts for large-scale residency complexes. And I mean, you do it for 1 day, it's fun. You do it for 2 days, it's okay. Then you on day 3, you suddenly realize that all you're doing is marking out fans and ceiling fans and electrical switchboards. But I realized that I was like feeling like I could not do this for the rest of my life. And I was getting very bored. And I realized that I was like, okay, the time to kind of come into the office was 9:30. And I remember feeling really bored and like, there's nothing happening. And I was like, okay, when will this day end? And I look up at the clock, there's a clock right there. And I look up at the clock and it's only 10 a.m. So, that's when I realized that if in case I can't do this for 3 days, there is absolutely no way that I can do it for the next 30 years of my life. Which was great because, it also helped prepare me to kind of identify that I might not want to be an architect once I graduate out of architecture school. And that's actually very, very okay. But yeah, so then we went and did our thesis. That went well, surprisingly. And it was all over, college got over. And then suddenly all my friends are getting jobs. They're starting their own firms. They're joining really fancy, fancy architects. And I'm like, okay, theek hai, nahi karna hai, mujhe bhi kya karu. So it's I don't know, I think it was my luck, but Academy of Architecture suddenly started looking for TAs, for teaching assistants and assistant professors that year. And they put out a feeler on our college email address. And I was like, this means that I won't have to draft buildings. And because my drawing is not the nicest thing in the world. And so then I joined, and as much as I hated architecture, teaching at architecture school was a lot of fun. I think I hopefully helped shape a lot of kids and their brains. But yeah, so that's about it. This is the TLDR version of what I did before I became a writer. The thing is, when you leave architecture school, it's not necessary that you have to be an architect. It's not necessary that you have to fit in with the rest of them, right? It's not, because it's not just about being an architect. You can be an interior designer, you can be a decorator, you can be a landscape artist, you can be an artist, you can be a lot of things. But that's not where it stops. The point is that because you've already kind of witnessed or lived through 5 years of extremely traumatic stress, you are suddenly opening up yourself to a whole world of possibilities, right? Because if you can deal with a year and a half of just working on your thesis and your dissertation, then nothing can break you in life. And so think of that as some advice, that if in case you have managed to kind of get yourself into the school and managed to finish it, which I hope all of you do, because nobody should spend more than 5 years there, because it's not good for your health. If you manage to do all of these things, then you can be anything you want. You can be a writer, you can be a baker, you can run your own business, you can be an entrepreneur, you can be a musician, a real estate agent. The world is yours. So that. I've also realized that I've always only done talks where I've seen people and I can understand whether they're listening to me or not. Now, considering I can only see my face and a lot of thumbnails with people's profile pictures, I want to kind of change the format of this thing. Also because I don't have anything new to say, but mostly because I wanted to kind of make it a conversation. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think that anybody can actually talk about stereotypes and about misfits or about fitting in without having questions on board. If anybody has a question, why don't you ask it? Let's just make it a design dialogue.
So I'll ask a question.
Thank you so much. Okay.
In an ideal world, the idea of being free from judgment sounds, really wonderful. But fortunately or unfortunately, we don't live in an ideal world. And this reality that we live in, we're being constantly judged. Even at times we judge ourselves. And even while I'm asking this question, I had to put this thought that should I or should I not? And I'm asking this, so what are your thoughts about, taking pride in being the misfit that we are? Should we openly accept it? Is it a good thing? Is it not a good thing?
I don't know. So the thing is, I came out to my, okay, fine. I mean, like, if in case people don't know, and if in case, somebody lives under a rock, I'm also gay. But I came out to my class in 4th year. I remember that I came out to them in 2010. And my class had a spectrum of like people from like different backgrounds and different ideologies and different political leanings. But it's surprising, right? Because I have lived my entire life being bullied in school or in junior college. It was just always like slur after slur after slur. And surprisingly, I think the bullying stopped when I stopped judging myself. And when I came out to myself and when I came out to my friends and my classmates, it automatically brings up that like level of pride in you, right? And, honestly speaking, the world is always going to judge you. You do something nice, people are going to be jealous of it and they're going to say mean things about you. You do something bad, people are going to point fingers at you and cancel you on social media. So the best you can do is be easy on yourself and live the most authentic version of yourself that you can. It's funny because, up until I remember when I was in 2nd year, there were a bunch of my seniors who used to, I don't even know whether college is built the same way that it was back when I was in school. But right after, outside the 1st floor office, there was this lobby, which you had to kind of get to kind of climb up the stairs to get to our classrooms. And there was this group of boys of like from various batches. Some of them were also my juniors, which is strange. But they would always stand there in a crowd, and whenever I would pass by, they would say things like, "Arey, cricket khelega kya?" And like, sorry, I don't play cricket. But I know what they were getting at. I know that it used to bother me a lot. And I like at one point, I remember taking the longer route from the back entrance of the college to kind of not go through that day in and day out. And I think it also like when people bully you, and like you all have also been exposed to a lot more media and a lot more TV and a lot more shows and books which talk about these things more so than like when I was your age. I think at some point the bullying happens when you bully yourself, right? People will always continue saying things about you, but it's up to you to kind of see what you want to kind of absorb from that and how much of that you want to let affect you. I'm not saying that just because people are saying mean things to you, you should take it. I'm saying that there are things that people will say to you that should not get your strength down. And yeah, but funnily speaking, when I did come out to everybody, my biggest worry was not my friends. My friends were absolute darlings about this. But I was very, very scared that like I'd be ostracized by my class, because we had seniors who were typically not straight acting. So, and they were always made fun of. And I was like, will I also be termed like categorized into that like bracket there? But the world surprises you. I realized that after I came out to like everybody in my class, which was like a class of 60 people, I have not seen that much goodwill in my life from an entire group of people ever. So I'm guessing that, as long as your shackles of freedom are free, you can be whoever you want to be. Does that answer your question, Riddhima?
Yes, it does.
Okay, there's another question in the chat box. What is the reality of following passion and failures while following passion? Okay, great. This sounds like it's a 20-mark answer. So the thing about passions is that people will tell you that practice something that you feel passionate about so that work doesn't feel like work every day. But I completely disagree with that. If in case you're really, really passionate about something, please make sure you don't make a job out of it, because as soon as you start getting money involved with your passion, then it becomes work, and then it becomes something that you have to do. And it doesn't become something that you want to do, it becomes something that you have to do. So if you're really passionate about something, if you're great at painting, if you're great at like sketching, if you're great at like video games, or if you're great at like stand-up comedy, please don't make a career out of it because you will end up hating it. I have been a writer for the last 12 years and I hate the absolute hell out of it right now. In terms of failure, I think failure is going to be, as I don't want to sound like a Pinterest board, because I will say these things that you will see on a Pinterest board or like an Instagram post. But I think failure is a part of life. If in case you've never seen failure in life, it means either means that you're born with so much privilege that you don't know that what failure means, or it means that you're doing something wrong. Failure will always accompany you wherever you go. And I think that's what makes life exciting, because if in case you don't fail, you don't appreciate the small wins, right? If in case we did not know what like losing something meant, we would never know what being nice at something would actually like entail, or what being good at something would mean. So as long as these failures don't affect you or your mental health, and as long as they don't affect you financially or extremely emotionally, I think you have to embrace them as you would embrace a friend. And use that to your advantage. Use your failures as your strength and use that to kind of push yourself to do your very best in life. Any question, just type them. We will pretend you're anonymous. Don't worry about it. Oh, there is a question. Okay. 3 advice you would like to give 20-year-old version of you. Okay, the first bit of advice I would give myself is to quit in 3rd year when I really wanted to quit in 3rd year, because things just get worse then. The second bit of advice I would do is that I would not have spent so much time worrying about like how much marks I got or what my rank in class was, or or the fact that I did not get the highest marks in some jury, because now 10 years down the line, I don't remember anything. And the third bit of advice I would give myself is I would be a lot more kind to myself, because I mean, I think as people who have attended and been a part of various juries and seen so many critics, I think your biggest critic will always be yourself. And as human beings, we're all being taught to kind of hate ourselves the most because it is the easiest thing to do. And self-deprecation is supposed to be funny, right? Because you see like comics do it and you're like, if they can hate themselves, I can hate myself too. But yeah, I think I would have been a lot more kinder to myself when I was 20, because there was a lot of insecurities down there, which I had to go speak to a therapist about for like 5 years. I would not want to waste that money in my life, because therapists are expensive. New questions? Oh, wow. Thank you. When was it that you decided to become a writer and how did it strike you? Okay, so I think I have very few skills in life. One of them is that I used to run a really, really crappy blog when I was in college. I don't think it exists anymore. And all my friends used to say that I write really well. So I decided, like, then I was teaching in architecture school, I think from 2011 till 2015. Firstly, your teachers don't get paid a lot of money, so please respect them a lot more, because they're doing it out of pure passion and they're doing it because they love you. So please respect them and please attend all your classes. But anyway, I had a very meager salary when I started off in college, and I realized that my lifestyle was very extravagant and I could not afford most of the things that I wanted to afford to in life. So I was like, now how do I earn some extra money? And my friend's friend was creating a startup and they needed a writer. And then my friend was like, why don't you you're good at it. So why don't you give it a shot? Why don't you do some content writing for this company? So I like, okay, cool. Let me think about it. And I did it. And surprisingly, they liked my work really well. And I was like, okay, in case I can make money out of this, why should I not? This is the best thing that can happen. So yeah, I think it was just that. More so, I think it was because I really didn't want to be an architect. Okay, like I would get I still get nightmares about this back. Like, I wake up sometimes in the middle of the night. And this recurring nightmare is the fact that I am at my jury and all my sheets have been misplaced. So I'm starting over from scratch in front of the juror. And then I wake up in a sweat and I realize that my jury happened like 11 years ago. So I don't need to worry about that anymore. Describe your journey post-architecture from 2011 to 2021. it's almost been a decade. Okay, this I don't have time for. And also, I mean, like, I'm also being rude about this because my friend asked this question. But yeah, life has been lots of fun. I mean, do I regret not being an architect? Not in the least. Do I regret joining architecture school? Not at all, because I think the reason I am the person that I am today is because I went to AOA. As much as I did not like it when I was a student there, but I have very, very fond memories of my time there. And I think the grit, the patience, the confidence that you develop in life also is a resultant of facing so many like adversities and tutors and teachers over the 5 years that you kind of go there, right? What are the challenges you faced while pursuing a profession different from the degree you have? Actually, the thing is, I mean, the good thing about being a writer is that technically speaking, all these other writers who are out there also don't have a degree per se, right? Because nobody goes to kind of college to be a writer. I mean, apart from like BA literature and all, but they become teachers and research assistants and like, you know, they do end up doing PhDs and all, they don't do content. So the fact is that because nobody else with my profession has a degree, like I don't feel like a misfit, pun intended, but yeah, I mean, people also, I think, don't take you as seriously because they realize that, oh, you're an architect before and now you're a writer. How does that work? And I'm like, you know, it works exactly the way everything else works. I know people who are like lawyers who run their own beauty brands. I know people who were chemical engineers who are now professional bakers at like and run their own pastry shops. So, you know, I mean, like, there's no like set notion of like how you want to progress in life. It's all going to continuously keep on happening. So yeah, I mean, sometimes haters are going to hate, so you don't need to kind of listen to everything everybody says. Do what you want to do. That's going to be my like general advice to all these questions that come my way. What are your thoughts on the new Gossip Girl series? Wow, did not think that we would get there, but the new Gossip Girl is a lot of fun. It's funny. I mean, spoiler alert, the new Gossip Girl is also revealed in the first episode. It turns out it's one of the teachers. And I realized if in case I was a teacher and I was teaching, I still teaching at AOA, I would also do it. So I think it's great. It also like makes, okay, this is only for the people who watch Gossip Girl. I'm really sorry for everybody else. But it also it gives like this show a backbone, which the first one didn't have, because when they made Dan Humphrey Gossip Girl, everybody's like, what were you thinking? So we can have like a different discussion about this because I don't think a lot of people will appreciate like bifurcating like that. So how does the journey of self-acceptance begin? I think, okay, I feel like I'm in Miss Universe, but I think the important part of self-acceptance is knowing that you need to, I mean, there's no other way, right? You can continue hating yourself. You can continue like being disappointed with yourself. You can continue being negative about yourself. But at the end of the day, the only person you're actually going to disappoint or hurt or hate is yourself. And I mean, you need to be a lot more true to who you are. You need to understand that that is not going to help you in the longer run. So why not begin? And like, it's as easy as saying that self-acceptance starts today. I mean, like right now, after this call, if in case you decide that you're okay with all the mistakes you made in your life, you're okay with all your insecurities, you're okay with like everything that you worry about, not that I'm a mental health professional. Please, if in case any of these problems bother you, please go see an actual professional mental health professional. I'm not 𝘪𝘵𝘶𝘳𝘵. I'm not going to give you like free therapy like that. But as long as you accept yourself and you decide to do it today, I think that's half the battle won. That's where you learn acceptance. Would you say your degree has helped in some way, somewhere in your life? Yeah, I think I already answered this question. I think architecture school made me, like I said, it made me extremely, extremely patient. It made me stress resistant. It prepared me for massive failures because I failed multiple juries and gotten 2 out of like 10 in lots of construction sheets. That's also because the construction faculty didn't like me a lot. And in case any of them are here, I'm, you know, too bad. But yeah, so I mean, like I used to feel bad then, but I mean, like if in case you deal with failure and you deal with stress and you deal with like disappointment all the time when you're 17 to the time that you're 21, then I'm guessing that you're prepared for like a lot of things in life. Okay.
Aniruddha sir, I think you have missed 2 questions above.
Oh, great. It seemed like a group chat and I got...
They were by 𝘪𝘵𝘃 and Aditya.
Oh, okay. I believe the people are afraid of failure because success is so celebrated and appreciated. Do you think that success must not be dealt with so much glory in order to normalize failure? I think you answered your own question. I think that's a very well put question. Yeah, but I think like people also, let's take Instagram for a quick example. I'm guessing that all of you are on Instagram. I'm guessing half of you are on Instagram right now and have all of this on you and you're just here for attendance. But Instagram is such an prime example. We all only talk about the good things that we've done. We all only talk about our vacations and we all only talk about like times we've looked our best and like, been our best and, oh, look at this, look at me here, look at me there, look at me meeting my friend, look at me eating this. But we don't talk about our failures. And I think social media has kind of prepared us for so much of adulation and validation that you get when you post about your successes. I think it's a no, wait, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, you answered your question there. So I don't know how I can actually add to that. But yeah, I think we should all not celebrate success as much as long as it is yours. If it's your success, celebrate the life out of it. But if in case somebody else is celebrating success, congratulate them, wish them well, but don't compare yourself with them. Your successes and your failures will always be your successes and your failures, and their successes and their failures will always be their successes and their failures. That could be a limerick. Next question. Won't having your passion as your job be much better? Because then you would actually look forward to the work we have to do. You'll be getting paid for something we love to do. Okay, giant myth. It's fine when it's one day, it's fine when it's 1 week, it's fine when it's 1 month. When you do it for 10 years, you suddenly realize that you don't look forward to it anymore. If anybody ever tells you that they enjoy their job, they're lying. Nobody enjoys their job. Everybody works because they want money in life and because money is such an important part of life. If in case I was given a choice, if in case I was asked that I should never work a day in my life again, I would gladly take it up. I would rather be sitting by a pool somewhere with a cocktail in my hand and be like, okay, this is my life. So now on, I'm not going to like open my laptop. I'm not going to do any more emails. I'm not going to send any more deadlines. This is it. This is my life. And I do not want to write anymore as well. But now because writing is associated with like deadlines and invoices and getting new work and constantly like wanting to not be irrelevant, it suddenly doesn't become a passion anymore because now it comes with like a lot of parameters attached to it, right? And when like more and more parameters start attaching themselves to your passion, then you start questioning whether you're actually passionate about it anymore or not. So in case you're really, really passionate about something, please don't make it your job. People will tell you to make it your job, but don't, because then you will end up hating it. And I don't want you to hate your passions. This is just my opinion. You might think otherwise, but yeah. Next question. Is accepting to be a misfit an easy way of giving up and just calling yourself a misfit? Wait, I have to read this question again because I didn't get it. So misfit, an easy way of giving up and just calling you a misfit. I don't know. I think so. I don't know. I think like we also live in a world where now everybody wants to be different, right? Like nobody wants to be a part of the pack. Nobody wants to be a sheep. Everybody wants to be a wolf. Everybody wants to be unique. Everybody wants to be different. Everybody wants to be very, 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 very iconic in their own right. So if in case you call yourself a misfit because you think it makes you a misfit, then I'm guessing that don't the misfits together make up the people who fit in? Because if everybody's a misfit, then how are they misfitting into something, right? I would ideally believe that you're a misfit if in case you kind of don't go according to like preconceived like norms of like society and of your family and like of like how people expect you to be. So yeah, I don't think I really understood your question. So I'm going to take the easy way out and just like leave it at that and move on to the next one. if it's not too personal, how did your close friends and family react to you coming out? Okay. Honestly speaking, my life has been a piece of cakewalk. I come from a lot of privilege, and I mean, like, like it's something I need to acknowledge, because I have been coming out to people from 2008 till 2 weeks ago when I came out to a colleague. And every time I come out, it's always been uncertain, because you never know how the person is going to react, right? I mean, there are like closeted homophobes everywhere. And it's always scary, because, you've developed a relationship with somebody, and then suddenly you don't want to kind of like let that relationship sour, or you don't want it to kind of break off because they can't accept you for who you are. Ironically, or like, I don't know, unfortunately, every time I've come out to somebody, it's just been really, really easy for me. All my closest friends and my family are nothing but the nicest people on the earth. And if in case I didn't have that kind of support system in my life, I would not be doing this call right now at the same time. So if in case, I mean, I am the person I am today because of all the people who kind of got me here. What do you feel about the path of passion / career should have been different, but after investing years, but again, there are constraints that are unavoidable, be it financial, societal, so on and so forth. Okay, this is also one of the main reasons why I decided to teach at college for 4 years, because I realized that I'm not a very rich kid, and there was no way that I could like quit college and quit architecture school and like become a writer, because I had no background, and money is very important. So if you don't want to be an architect once you graduate out of architecture school, there are still so many things you can do. Okay? I mean, I'm not saying that, please don't follow my path and like teach at college, which is not the nicest thing to do. But like, you can do so many things. You can be an artist, you can be a designer, you can be an illustrator, you can be a graphic designer. The kind of skill set that architecture school prepares you for also prepares you for the requisite skill set that is required for a lot of other jobs in life. So until and unless you figure out what you are really passionate about, there's always these different streams that you can use to kind of sustain yourself, right? So that like you keep your bank account happy, you keep your family happy, but you also keep yourself happy, which is the most important thing. You need to keep yourself happy at the end of it, because that's the most important part of your life that needs to be taken care of. Okay, most misfits often get misunderstood as rebellious when we're really just trying to be ourselves. Self-acceptance is great, but how do you go about breaking the whole you just want to rebel perceptions of people that are close to you? We don't need to answer everyone, but doesn't it feel nice to be understood correctly, at least by the close ones? So where and how do these rebel accusations stop? Actually, I mean, if in case people want to call you a rebel, then let them call you a rebel. By rebelling against it, you're actually proving a point. But if you accept their like all these accusations they throw your way, you're actually dismissing what they're saying in the first process. And if in case, even if your close friends are calling you things, then I'm really sorry to break it down to you, but these people don't deserve to be your close friends. You need to surround yourself with more positive people around you, and this world has a lot of nice people. So please go change your friends, because if in case they're making you feel bad about yourself, then they don't deserve to be a part of your life. And as well as rebel accusations, I don't know. I mean, I think everybody should be a rebel, and if in case somebody calls you a rebel, I think you should use that as a badge of honor, as a sign of like accomplishment, because by being a rebel, you're breaking free from the shackles of like, heteronormativity, or like from the shackles of like being complacent or being a part of everyone else. So I don't know, if in case somebody calls you a rebel, use that as a compliment, and don't think that it's an insult, because once you start using these terms as affirmations, nothing can break you. Okay. But I repeat, I'm not a therapist, so I can't give you like that kind of advice. More questions. Misfits find a fit with other misfits, but that fit doesn't fit anymore. Would that make you a misfit at being misfit? Ganesh, I did not understand this question. Okay. How do you deal with burnout and exhaustion, mental, artistic, etc.? Okay, the only way to deal with burnout is to take a break, right? You need to constantly keep on taking breaks in life. This hustle culture that 𝘵𝘩𝘬𝘳𝘴 and 𝘺𝘰𝘃𝘴 and all these like, Jay Shetty types talk about is not cool. Okay, you should not be working all the time. There's no like hurry, there's no finish line. You're only competing against yourself in life. Your friends might get married, your friends might have children, your friends might run empires, or your friends might have moved abroad. Your friends might have, like, I don't know, extremely attractive boyfriends, but those are their lives. Do not compare yourself with them. Compare yourself with yourself. When you only have that blinder on and there's nothing else, when you're not competing with anybody else, the idea of exhaustion and burnout becomes a very personal practice. Because then you can choose to decide when you want to stop, and everybody should stop. Stop when your mind says that you need to. Stop when your body says that you need to. Pushing yourself is not going to get you anywhere. It's only going to push you back. So I deal with burnout and exhaustion by taking long naps. I think one of the biggest things that I used to miss out on when I used to go to college was I barely used to sleep, and now I make up on a lot of naps. And I think the internet is the biggest distraction that there is. So if I ever want to take a break, I'm spending like 8 hours going through like other people's Instagram reels. That always helps. Coming back to passion, sometimes it is bound to happen that we go through unwanted lows in our work, even though it is your passion. How do you deal with it? I feel like I answered this question. I'm not very sure. Sounded like it was something very similar, but like, yeah, I said that like lows will happen. If in case these lows are of the mental capacity, then please do not like read up things online. Do not self-medicate. Do not self-diagnose. There are actual like psychologists and therapists and who are out there to help you in these times. Please go see them. In terms of like financial and career lows, I'm not saying that you should not let it affect you, but understand that, like I said, it's going to be a part of life. And every time you go on a low, it also means that you're going to come up to a high again, because it is going to be like a roller coaster, and it's only going to make you appreciate the high when it does come. So yeah, so don't ignore your lows. I'm not saying that you need to pretend like they're not happening, but accept them. Accept that you're failing at something. Accept that something's not going the way you want it. And find out ways in which you can find out things that you can do to make sure that you reach the complete 180 degrees aspect of it, and try turning that low into a win. And I don't want to say it's as simple as that, but yeah, it's the simplest thing that like somebody can say about this. Okay, other question. Oh, what are the perks of being a writer? Okay, the perks of being a writer are that I can work out of anywhere. Also, because I'm a freelance writer, I am technically my own boss, which is why I can afford to do this 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon when like I should technically be working on a deadline. Anyway, I think like writing is also a giant bit of writing is about narrating like your own story. And I think if you can like tell stories, that is the biggest perk, right? You can tell people what's happening, and you can write about it, or you can convert it into poetry, or you can do anything you want to do. So like, I mean, like in terms of other perks, I can't think of anything apart from the fact that it lets me take afternoon naps, and it also gives me a lot of free time. And surprisingly, the country has very few writers, so it's a very, very niche occupation, which means that if in case you're thinking of becoming a writer, please do it, because there is a giant dearth of good writers in this country, and the world could do with more of you. Can you please elaborate on your mentor figures? Honestly speaking, I don't know whether I've had a mentor, but my sister is 4 years older than I am. And she was the class topper like 12 years in a row. And then she went to IIT Bombay. And then she went to Stanford. And then she worked at Google. And then she was a consultant. So I think like a large part of me wanted to be a lot more like her. A large part of me wanted to be as successful and as intelligent as she is, which did not happen. But yeah, I think as long as you have that like vision or that finish line for yourself, where you know that this is what I want to kind of like accomplish in life, or this is what I want to be when I am probably like 40 or 50 or 60, or like 70. I hope I won't live to be 70. I want to be up because I think the world is going to be a horrible place when in the next 40 years, 37 years. So yeah, I think like choose somebody that inspires you and make them your mentor, or make a future version of yourself your mentor, because that's the easiest way to do. Create an idea of what you want to be or who you want to be probably a decade from now, and work yourself towards that goal and think of that person as your mentor. Think of 2031 version, think of the version of you in 2031 as your mentor in life. And yeah, so that, you know, I won't have to give advice to my 20, you won't have to give advice to your 20-year-old self 10 years from now, because you would be giving that advice to yourself right away.
Hi Aniruddha, I'm Pradyumna here. I have one more question.
Awesome.
So I had asked about the unwanted lows in your passion. Now
Okay.
passion is a larger realm,
Mhm.
but breaking down the same thing to a daily go-to activity. For example, it may be writing for you, and in my case it is sketching. But sometimes even that activity somehow can't deal with our lows. So how do we deal with that?
Like I said, I think like, you know, I mean, like in case you're really feeling low, actually like seeking professional help is completely okay. There is no shame there. There's no stigma attached. I think the best thing to do whenever you're feeling low is to write down your thoughts. If you journal how you're feeling, it also helps you identify what's bothering you. I do that every night. I mean, not every night, but I do that whenever something's troubling me. I have a diary in my, it's not a diary, it's a little like phone book. But I have a little notepad that if sometimes you don't know what's bothering you, right? So I have a notepad where I write down what's been stressing me out, or what's been like irritating me, or what's been annoying me. And it helps me also identify what is happening in my head. And while you start gaining some sort of semblance or some sort of like cognizance of what is bothering you, it also helps you understand and eliminate these kind of distracting thoughts. So if in case you think that a therapist is too expensive, or if you don't have the resources or logistics to go see one, I say start with like just making notes of what bothers you and just shut shop. If you can't sketch for the rest of the day, that's okay. You know, you have your whole life ahead of you. Not sketching for 1 day or 2 days or 10 days is not going to, in the larger scheme of things, like 5 years from now, you will not look back and think of the times that, oh, I could have sketched that 1 day, but I did not, because your happiness is more important. So yeah. Okay, what movie drama motivated you to shift to something else? Okay, when I was in college, I watched this movie called The Mona Lisa Smile, which was a movie that talks about following your passions. So it's got Julia Roberts in it. So if in case you've not watched it, it's called The Mona Lisa Smile. Then there's also Dead Poets Society, which is a great movie. You should watch these two movies. I think the entire premise of my talk today was bits and pieces that I stole from both those movies. So you will also understand that a lot of my talk today was very, very plagiarized from plots of the two films. So if in case you've not watched it, the two of them are really, really good movies that you could watch. How does finance work in writing? What are the economics dynamics when it comes to writing? Okay, honestly speaking, when I quit my teaching job, I suddenly realized that I did not have a job anymore. And I was fortunately living at home with my parents back then. So I didn't have to worry about rent and bills and food. So I'm forever in debt to my mother and my father for that. But yeah, I think it's not going to start easy, right? Like nothing in life is going to start easy. You need to kind of like either have savings, or you need to have a support system, or you need to have like be able to handle little odds and ends jobs. I remember I started off doing like social media content for like a firm, and they used to pay me 3,000 rupees to do like 15 posts for the month. And this was back in 2012. And like, I knew that 3,000 rupees is very, very little money, but I had nothing going on. And that was the only income that I had for 3 months. And I remember that those 3 months, I would not go out. I did not eat out. I did not take cabs or rickshaws. I would take a bus. I would take a train. And yeah, I would not buy myself anything. I think finances are always going to be a big worry. but it gets better. I mean, not earning 3,000 rupees anymore. So that's a great thing. But yeah, I mean, you need to have like some sort of safety net to fall back on. If in case you're really, really particular about following your passion, please do not do it without any kind of support system on your side, because life is not very easy. Okay, so unless and until you have savings or you have means to kind of earn money on the side, or you want to kind of like, do like freelance graphic design or freelance designing, or be a consultant to earn money on the side so that you can follow your passion, please do so. But it's going to be like a constant up and down. Okay, like there are going to be highs when you earn a lot of money. There are going to be months when you don't earn any money. There are going to be months when you earn like moderate money, but that's like life. So okay, the next person who asks me a question gets 5 marks in their final jury. I'll make it happen. 10 extra marks for the next person who asks me a question. 10. कैसे लोग हो यार तुम लोग? कैसे लोग? Oh, I won't ask only if it's a bribe of marks. Okay, cool. You can ask and like we won't give you the marks anyway. What is your question? Okay, what is that one piece of work that you've done so far in life that you're really, really proud of? What about it makes you proud? Could you call it your passion project? What were the hardships? What drove towards doing and completing it? Oh, that's a very long question. Thank you, Tanya. Okay, so I run this queer culture portal called the 𝘫𝘰𝘶𝘭𝘵, which is like a guide for LGBTQ people, and it talks about what being an Indian gay band means in this Desi context. I'm really proud of the kind of things that I've done with it. I've like parts of it have gone on to be featured in GQ and on First Post and on Homegrown and on BuzzFeed and on Men's XP and Netflix. It's currently getting converted into a book with HarperCollins, and if in case everything goes well, my book should be out later this year. So yeah, I mean, harshness wise, I think the thing when you like really passionate about something is that you want to give it your 150%, which means that even if you end up giving 90% or 95%, you still feel like you're doing a terribly, terribly shitty job. So the only hardship I faced was that, like, you want to kind of give your best work, and not all your work is going to be your best work. So you need to be okay with that. What drove me towards completing it was back like 4 years ago, there was like this slump in my work and I didn't have any work and I was feeling very bored. So I wanted to do something fun. So I started the blog as a joke, and don't think it's a joke anymore. So yeah, that. Please do check it out. It's called 𝘫𝘰𝘶𝘭𝘵.com. I haven't updated it in the last 2 years because my editor says I can't put up new content because I will get sued by my publishing house. But yeah, there's a lot of fun things happening there. What if we find difficulty in choosing what exactly we need to do and we keep jumping from one thing to another? Where do we stop? I say you never stop. If in case you want to jump from one thing to other, keep on doing it unless and until you find complete happiness in life. Once you find something that makes you excited, to kind of wake up in the morning, get to it, that's when you stop. And if in case you want to restart again like a year or two down the line, then it's completely fine. There's this whole myth that there is a finish line, that there is an end point, that there is a destination. But if you watched any kind of TV show, if you watched any movie, life is about the journey and it's not about the destination. So please never stop. You do you. Don't stop believing. How does one overcome low self-confidence when the people around you?
Hi, hello. Even I would like to ask something.
Okay, please do.
So as bizarre as this sounds, in a world of today, would you rather prefer, given a choice, would you rather prefer being a fit or a misfit?
I don't know. I don't want to be either, yeah. Because by agreeing to be fun, you're like still trying to fit in. So I think I want to be myself. And I think everybody, this idea of fits and misfits is a very, very giant like misconception. I mean, you don't need to be either of them. You just need to be yourself. That's what matters the most. And I mean, like, but if I've gun to my head, if I do have to choose, then Like, what's the point of being like everybody else? No? You want to kind of have something that other people can remember you by. You want to have something that leaves an impression when other people like talk about you or think about you. So yeah, like if you're a fit, I mean, not fit that way, but if you fit into the crowd, you'd also become equally lost in it, right? So as cliched and as cringe as it sounds, I think being a misfit means that you don't get lost and you don't disappear into the void. Okay, Ronak is asking a question. How does one overcome low self-confidence when the people around you believe in you, but you don't believe in yourself and end up messing up things that you know about? Okay, now I had extremely low self-confidence when I was a kid because, you know, that is what like all of us go through. And I think, honestly, for me, it was just about switching. It was about flipping that switch. At some point, you need to realize that people around you will believe in you. I mean, you need to realize that if people around you believe in you, you need to believe in yourself. And nobody can tell you to do that. Nobody is ever going to tell you to kind of have faith in yourself because you're the only one who can tell yourself that. But if you put one person in a group of a group of 30 people who know each other, that one person is always going to feel anxious. So take peace in the fact that everyone in the world is going through the same problem as you are. So hopefully that helps build some confidence. How do you react when the people around you demotivate you in some way or the other? I think use that to inspire yourself. There's nothing more satisfying than proving somebody else wrong. And once you prove somebody else wrong, the joy that you feel, the kind of like sheer delight you feel when you see somebody like take back and eat back their words, I think there's nothing else will give you that much kind of pleasure in life. So yeah, so when people around you try to demotivate you, use that to push yourself to do even better in life, and you will do even better in life because you will want to prove yourself to other people. And as much as we like to prove ourselves to ourselves, I think proving ourselves to other people is always a bigger challenge that we take upon ourselves. So use that. Ignore them. Okay, Prathamesh has answered my question. Thank you, Prathamesh. I would not have to go through this like 7-minute long monologue of all this.
Aniruddha, I wanted to ask you, what is your advice for aspiring writers or maybe people who are thinking about writing something or being following just as a passion, not as a profession?
I think the only way to hone a skill is to keep on writing every day, even if it's like a paragraph, just keep on writing every day. If it doesn't need to be like an essay. Okay, it doesn't need to be a blog. It can be as well as like an entry of what you did over the course of the day. And keep on doing that every single day, day in and day out. Don't take breaks from that. Keep on sharing your work with other people and keep on sharing them with like people who are your close friends and who you know will support you, but also share it with people who might have differing opinions than yours. Because the more you expose your writing to different kinds of like narratives, the more you expose your writing to different kinds of outlooks, the better writer you become. Also, I think the best way to become a writer is to read more. Try reading a book a week. Okay, read 52 books a year. I know it sounds difficult, but it's not that difficult. If you read like 50 pages a night, you can aram se finish a 350-page book in the course of like a week. The more you read.
No, audiobook help?
No, you have to read. Okay, audiobooks only means that you're not going to be paying attention because you're going to be on your phone, like going down your Instagram feed. So read more books.
But sometimes audiobooks gives a flexibility and like when you are a slow reader, audiobooks are better to finish a book as faster as directly reading a book.
Yeah, but I see the thing is I don't like audiobooks because also like, yeah, in terms of retaining the kind of like things that you've read, I personally think I also am old, right? I'm going to turn 33 this year, which is why I might have like different opinions here. But I think that when I hear somebody talk, I also have the attention span of a goldfish. So if somebody's talking, I zone out very often. Okay, then I'm just like nodding my head like this and like, oh, okay, that's great. Yeah, sounds fun. Oh, I'm so sorry, you know, and I'm not listening to anything they're saying. And I know that when like I can't even see this person and it's happening on on an audiobook on my headphones, then there's no, there's no way I'm going to like absorb anything that I'm like listening to. But this is just me. If in case audiobooks work for you, please read or please listen to a book a day. It'll help you tremendously. Okay, what is the question you really, really, really want answered currently? I don't know. When does this get over? What about how do we answer that? Because I think I might need some water at some point. I have been talking continuously for 70 minutes now and did not realize that so many questions will come my way. So thank you all for that. I don't want you all to keep on sending questions to me because you will get pressured because I'm heckling you all like this. But yeah, please ask more questions if you want to. I'm an open book. What is the one book that you can reread multiple times? I can reread Harry Potter as many times as I want to because I started reading them when I started reading them in 2003 when I was in 2001 when I was in 7th standard. I don't even think y'all were born then, right? Yeah. I started reading them in 2001 and I still read them 20 years down the line and it's an absolute delight every time I read it. So even though J.K. Rowling has said some very, very problematic things in the recent past, I want to thank her for giving me my childhood and for making my childhood so magical. What are your thoughts on body shaming? I think people who body shame, this is something my therapist has said, people who shame people are also deflecting a lot of their own insecurities on other people, right? So if in case somebody is rude to you, if somebody is shaming you on your body, if somebody is being mean to you, so if in case somebody is being rude to you, it's because they're being rude to themselves also. So firstly, body shaming is the worst thing that you can do. In case somebody tells you you're too fat, you're too thin, you just need to tell them that you're too stupid. Okay, I'm like, sorry. Nobody else gets to decide what your body looks like apart from yourself. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, if in case somebody body shames you, just stop them right there, cut them off, remove them from your life. You do not need that in your life. What are your thoughts? Kindle versus traditional reading as a writer? I like books because I think books have a certain like smell. If you take an old book, it smells like vanilla ice cream. I don't know whether it still does. But whenever you read, like open a book and like smells like vanilla ice cream, then I don't know. I don't think I can explain it, but I like holding a book in my hand because, then like, when you take it outside, people know what you're reading. Otherwise, if you have a Kindle in your hand, they can't tell what book you're reading. It's really intelligent than having a actual hardbound book in your hand is a lot more important and a lot more easy. Yes, the new book smell. Yes, Ganesh. Thank you for that. What would you prefer, hard work or smart work as a writer and as an architect? I think smart work is more important because hard work, there's no space for hard work because there's no length to hard work, right? You can work for 2 hours, you can work for 4 hours, you can work for 8 hours, 16 hours, 24 hours. That ship never sails. But if you work smartly, then the chances are that you will do better in life. I remember I was a very mediocre student. I was very busy. And the only reason I managed to kind of get like great marks was that I would like show up every day. I would submit everything on time and I would not piss my professors off. So that is smart work. Also go to the library. There's lots of references there. Oh, wow. How do you tell someone subtly when they're being stereotypical or is something subjective and should be left the way it is? I think when somebody is being stereotypical, wait, what? I didn't understand the question. Can you just ask it to me because I didn't get your question? Was it okay? Would you be comfortable asking this question?
Yeah, so what I mean is sometimes it does happen that maybe your parents or an elder person in your family is being stereotypical about something. And you know that, okay, that it's something not right and you want to even tell them about it, but then you don't even want to come off as rude. So what do you do then?
But can you give me an example?
For example, if say if someone in the family is say wearing a short dress, and one of the relatives just behind the person's back is saying something about it, and you know that okay, it's not right, and the person who's wearing that dress is entitled to wear it, and this is not something that she should be saying behind her back. But then it also, it may come off as rude. So what do you do then?
See, I mean, like, there are two ways that you can go about this. If this is somebody that you genuinely care about, it could be either person, the person who's being spoken about or the person who's saying these things. If it's somebody that you genuinely care about, then you stand up for what you believe. Okay, and you have a very honest conversation about it. I think most of, like, 90% of the world's problems would kind of go away if in case people were more honest about how they feel. But, it doesn't work that way, right? Tell them why you think their opinions are wrong. Explain to them that how things work. Explain, also kind of educate them about how they are stereotyping something, and then like use that as an explanation of how that could be like deemed as something that is inappropriate or wrong. If you do it this way, if you do it so like like tick 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 tick, there is a chance you won't come across as rude. There's a chance that you'll only come across as somebody who actually wants to help. If you don't have a good relationship with this person who's saying things, then I think like people who have opinions such as that are also bigots, and bigots are they're very stubborn. I say if you can't convert a bigot, the best thing to do is to just ignore it, right? Because you're just going to waste your breath trying to explain something to somebody, and if in case they don't get it, you're just going to feel you are going to feel angry. And it's not worth any of that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Thanks.
Did it really answer your question?
No, it did.
Great. Wow.
Hi, Aniruddha, I think you missed a question.
I know there were lots of college questions here. Okay. When you were in college, what was your go-to place area? The canteen. Our canteen was really fun, and they used to make triple Szechuan chicken fried rice, which I used to eat every day, and I used to have a Coke at 2 p.m. when college used to shut, and that was my highlight of the day. I think the canteen was the biggest place. I don't know whether that banyan tree still exists. I don't know. I haven't seen college in a while. So that quad was fun. I don't know, nothing else. Yeah, the NASA room probably. I don't know whether you all know what NASA is, because I heard that NASA shut down. So, wow, this is a different generation. Okay, Kindle highlights things to your mail and can help actively cause. So how do you summarize what traditional reading, if in case you fancy to visit a area that you prep to say read? Bookmarks. Bookmarks exist for a reason. Okay, use bookmarks if in case you really like a part of a book, just buy, or like use like a piece of paper, use a bill, use anything, use a visiting card. This is why, like, you all need to kind of get out of your like devices, because it's like back in the day, back when we didn't have like Kindles and phones, we used to do these like simple like old people things, and that is how you do it. So as you said, you were a little sure about what field you want to go to, what to do if you're still not clear yet. Listen, I'm guessing you're 19 or 20 or 21. It's fine if you're not clear about what you want to do with your life. There's no age limit. You can be unclear about what you want to do with your life even when you're 50 or even when you're 55. The trick is to not let that get you, and the trick is to just keep going and do what you want to do on that particular day itself. Take it one day at a time. Don't think about your life like 10 years from now, like even though I just said 45 minutes ago that's what you should do. But in case you're not very clear about what you want to do, then you will find it. You will get there. Don't be tough on yourself.
According to you, could writing as a whole be incorporated into architecture in a bigger sense? And what role could it play in architecture? Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, my friend was one of my classmates went on to work at Domus, and she was an associate editor or like assistant editor, or like maybe she was a contributing writer. But she went on to like do a career in architectural journalism. And there's so many things you can do. You can go into like policy making. You can writing is a part of architecture, right? I mean, you're writing these giant like dissertations, so 40, 50 page like long books, which mostly you take from the internet, but you still need to compose it all together. So I think writing and like designing will always go hand in hand, because there's not going to be any design that's going to like speak for itself, and writing is going to help you get there. So if you want to continue there are so many magazines. There's Architectural Digest, there's Travel and Living, there's Homescapes, there's Good Homes, there's Good Housekeeping. There's so many journals. There's so many like design journals. You can always become an architectural journalist. You can become a design curator. You can become a theory of design professor. You can go into research. I don't know, but I'm guessing, there's so many things that you can do.
So
okay, after that.
Yeah, so we've noticed that you have really bold choices in terms of fashion. Is it just something that you like, or would you want to pursue it further, maybe like an influencer, or do you like is it a conscious choice to have such a bold fashion?
I'll tell you why my choices are bold, because all my clothes are from H&M and Forever 21, because those are the only clothes I can buy. Okay, those are the only clothes I can afford. And unfortunately, both of these places, I don't know whether they're still on or not. Unfortunately, both of these places usually have like lots of prints and lots of flowers and lots of colors on them, which is why, oh, thank you. But a lot of it is mostly because of that. And I realized that, yeah, it's fun. I get asked fun questions like this, so it makes me feel really nice about myself. Yeah. I'm wearing like shorts niche because I knew that like nobody's going to see it. I also wore this shirt because I was going to be on this. Otherwise, I'm just wearing like one of my like 10-year-old t-shirt because of the pandemic. Who's going to see you, right? Thank you, by the way. But yeah, I don't think I want to be an influencer because I have zero fashion sense. I only buy things that look nice. That is it. That is the only thing that I think of when I'm buying clothes. Nothing else. It should look really nice and it should fit really well. That's it. Okay, great. That was the last question. I think I'm going to leave that there because it made me feel really nice about myself. Thank you all for hearing me meander on this giant monologue for the last like 85 minutes. I personally would not have done it. I would have like me on mute and I would be watching something on like a different screen. But I hope that all 91, wow. Okay. All 91 of you had some takeaway from here, and I hope that it helps you ahead in life. But yeah, thank you, Adnan. My vibe is really cool. It means a lot to me too. But yeah, so thanks everyone. I'm going to now go back to work because, adult life. But great. If in case any of you all ever want any help, please shoot me an email. It is aniruddha.mahale@gmail.com or send me a DM on my Instagram.
Yeah.
So on behalf of everybody present, we again thank you for being a part of this session. It was certainly a blast to conduct this as the inaugural AOA dialogue, and it was certainly a very interactive experience from what we are seeing.
Okay.
So yeah, I again thank the audience as well for creating this sort of buzz around this session.
Thanks everyone. I'm going to go now. This was fun. Please have a great weekend and leave your computers and go enjoy yourselves. Okay, bye.